Previously, gaming, I think, was seen as the hobby of a teenage boy in the bedroom, quite a geeky kind of hobby. Now everybody plays games, politicians, kids. We've all seen footage of old people playing the Wii in old people's homes. It's very much a mass market entertainment, which is fantastic for the industry. It means that there's more people that are playing games, more people buying games, but it also means that we're recognised now by politicians as an important creative industry, certainly in the UK, and competing against the world. The big change in the last couple of years has been digital distribution. It's had a massive, I don't think anybody can really underplay the effect that the Apple App Store has had for the games industry. Developers used to have to go to publishers and sell their games boxed copies in retail shops, and they would get a small cut of the proceeds many years down the line after distributors and retail and publishers had taken their cut. Now, games developers can sell their games directly to their consumers and take 70% of the profits. Intellectual property, or IP as we call it in the industry, is incredibly important. It is the wealth creator of the industry. If you look at recent examples such as Angry Birds, how much wealth has been created through the creation of this new IP, it's been incredibly important to that company. It's allowed that company to grow and to expand into other areas, such as movies and toys and everything else. So IP is hugely important, and with the new digital marketplaces, it's allowed developers to be more experimental, to try things out and try to create interesting and innovative IP, which will create wealth and allow them to invest that into more products and create more jobs. And certainly in our region, in Yorkshire and in the UK, it's been incredibly important. I'm already seeing trends from future technologies coming into events. I went to an event the other day where people had keypads in the audience, everyone had keypads, and we were voting on whether we agreed with what the speaker said, and talking about future trends and voting whether we agreed or not. And we had instant results, and people were laughing and commenting on the results that were happening. So already conferences are becoming more interactive and more playful, if you like. You're also going to see, obviously, social networks are massive. They are only going to become more ubiquitous. I think social networks, if you're not already doing it with events, then you really need to start putting social networks at the core of what you're doing with events. That is becoming increasingly important. I think also you're going to see more people interacting with events that perhaps aren't at the events, but you're going to get more live feeds. You're going to get more people perhaps asking questions over social networks, Twitter and Facebook, live to the speaker that's at the conference from all over the world. And I think that involvement of more of the community at the same time is going to become increasingly important. However virtual our lives are becoming, I think people will always want to meet up and share a drink and chat about the industry, and that is always going to be important. So I think that events have to remember that, events management, that people will always want to meet. So always make sure that you look after people and that you make it a really good environment for people to do business and have a nice time, have a great, enjoyable time socially. Businesses are going to have to react quicker to what's going on in the landscape of business. For example, who'd have heard of freemium a year ago? Freemium is, in games terms, it's giving away your game for free, but making money from microtransactions. So you basically, people pay for upgrades within the game. And that has become enormously influential and popular within app stores and various digital markets. Completely new business model. So in events, for example, would you ever have a free conference? And you would pay for things within the conference, various speakers and so on. So I think that businesses have to be wary of what's going on and react quicker, because those are the companies, the agile companies are the ones that are going to succeed. We're very much technology led, so that is obviously going to remain very important. As far as social, we're seeing huge changes within social networks and the way that people work, for example. So we, as a games industry, we have to keep an eye on what is going on socially, basically, within our society, but also within social networks. That is incredibly important because people need time to play games, so we have to work with that. And that's, for example, why mobile gaming is becoming increasingly important, because people travel a lot and they like to play games on the move. So that is increasingly important. Economically, business models are changing all the time. We all know about the world economy the way it is at the moment. So to survive, companies are going to have to be very on the ball. They're going to have to work very hard to make sure that they are serving their audience. Games has moved from product to service provider. That's a very big change that has happened within the games industry. You no longer put a box on the shelf and that's it, you wait for the money to roll in. That's no longer the case. Now with games, you release the game and then you look after the people that play your game. You provide a service and you do updates and you make sure that you keep your community.